Right, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just had early screenings, and I am going to talk spoilers in this video, but I'm going to keep it non-spoiler for the first half of this review, then I'll warn you when I get into spoilers. But I will just be talking just in general about this movie. I just want to state after the screening, I don't know if they're giving these away everywhere, but my theater was giving away these phenomenal Sonic posters. You know, you can kind of see Knuckles, Tails, really neat, badass looking posters. At the theater I work at, we get a lot of these posters, and we usually just get the generic ones that are just the movie poster, right? Like it's the one that they put up in every movie theater you see when you just look up the movie. But this is a unique, different artwork. It looks very much like kind of game artwork, almost really cool. And just to refresh you on my thoughts on the first movie, I thought the first movie was all right the first time I saw it, and I've kind of waned on it since because the first time watching it in the theater, I was just kind of pleasantly surprised, like most people. While I wasn't as pleasantly as surprised as most people, because I did say at the end of the day, this movie is a mediocre movie that's fine, but it is better than we thought, and I did really enjoy it. However, the sequel excitement did get me excited because, all right, you got Idris Elba, who is a great actor voicing Knuckles and a great choice for that character. You got Tails coming in, which of course we knew from the end credits of the first movie, and it seemed like from the trailers, all right, we're embracing the game a lot more. And holy shit, they do. There's quite a bit of game references and cameos, just little things that are so much fun. And they do sideline the humans quite a bit in this movie. They still have a subplot that is absolutely terrible, and I'll get into that when I talk spoilers. But that's what makes this movie about. I think it's about 20-30 minutes longer, and that whole portion of the movie could have been cut out and removed. It was just terrible. In fact, there's a couple scenes that I think could be removed, and again, I will talk about those in spoilers. But this movie is kind of fun because it's a globe-trotting adventure for the first part of it, where they're trying to get the Chaos Emeralds, which you kind of see in the previews, and then it turns into Stop Robotnik movie, and yeah, that's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that. The fun of Knuckles being in the movie. He adds a lot to the movie. Idris Elba does a great job voice acting this character. Knuckles is just a big badass brute who's not very smart, but he's a lot of fun, and he's great. Tails doesn't have a lot in the movie, but the character's still fun, and I enjoyed seeing them there, especially towards the end of the movie during the final battle and stuff. He really helped out a lot, and I really enjoyed that. Um, and yeah, just if you're a Sonic fan, you're gonna get some enjoyment out of it. Other issue that's non-spoiler is that I didn't like a lot of the humor. There is a lot of cringy humor. I don't really need Sonic to be like Vin Diesel and The Rock and say stupid shit that is annoying, but he did that in the first movie, so it didn't really bother me too much. But it just, the first one had some good humor that worked, and this one did too. But more than often than not, it leaned a little too juvenile, especially in this one. But whatever. Spoilers for this movie. Click off now if you don't want spoilers. Um, of course, we know Knuckles goes good by the end of the movie, which is great. So that's fun. I really like what they did with his backstory, because it does make it really exciting for a sequel to this movie, where they're going to open this character up to do a lot more than he does in the sequel, and he does in this movie, maybe in a sequel series. Though I have a feeling that it is not a sequel series, it's a prequel series because of his backstory. But that's really cool. Excited for that now. And Idris Elba is reprising his role in the Paramount Plus series, so very excited about that. Cameos in this movie. Obviously, we get Supersonic at the end. I think everybody expected that. That was cool. Shadow at the end of this movie was cool. Though when they were showing that project, I thought, oh, it's Metal Sonic, and then it's not. It's Shadow, which is cool either way. But which I guess he was the obvious choice. I would prefer a Metal Sonic, but okay. Save Shadow for like a third movie. Or we'll tease him in a second. Well, I guess this is the second one. Never mind. But yeah, this was fun. That was fun to see. And then let's just get into the shit that didn't work. There is a Siberian scene where they're in Siberia and they dance to Uptown Funk. And it is just cringy. It is awful. It's not funny. It's shit. And I hated watching it. It was the worst scene in this movie. I just. Look, I don't even have a problem with that song. I know there's a lot of people who do hate that song. But I like that song. Like, I listen to it occasionally by myself. Every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, we should listen to that song. I don't hate the song. I hate that it's in this movie and used like that. It's just dumb, and it's just like, come on. And it's an example of the humor being a little too juvenile in this movie. The other part, I don't understand what the deal was with the humans. So they have an excuse for why they're not in the story, but then they still feel the need to bring them back into the story. Basically, Tom and his wife go away at a wedding. Cool. I don't need to cut back to them and their marital problem or this or their issues with this married couple and their relationship not being the best or whatever the hell. And then this whole subplot about them being FBI agents and it all be a ruse. First of all, it doesn't make any sense. They play it up like, oh, this was a tease to lure in Sonic. I'm like, what? Like, they had no idea Sonic was going to show up at the time he did, and it was just weird and it was bizarre and it didn't make any sense. And then just dialogue in that scene were just weird too. Like, he's like, I broke the first rule of undercover. Don't fall in love. Actually, the first rule of being undercover is not revealing your identity. Fucking idiot. It's just like, what is this movie? Like, why is this needed? And it's just this fat lady who's mad, and it's so dumb. Like, why do they need to be in this movie? You know, I mean, I get why they had to be in the beginning because they were set up in the first movie. Cool, bring them in the beginning, have their little moment in the beginning, and then once the adventure starts, cut them out of the story. They don't need to be in this movie. They're not. This franchise isn't about them. It's time to move on. And I think would have been really nice is by the end of this movie that had Knuckles and Tails and Sonic all been like gone somewhere to deal with something else on another planet, and we could have had a fully animated movie, but we're never going to get that, unfortunately. And it's just annoying that this franchise has to be like partial live action and animation because everything people like about it is animation. Why do we need live action nonsense? It's just, come on. I had fun, but this franchise is always going to be dragged down by the fact that it's not animated, and it's just unfortunate. And I don't know, but that's my thoughts on it. I was pleasantly surprised, actually, in a lot of ways, but I was also disappointed in a lot of ways. It's very much a mixed bag. I think it's slightly better than the first movie, which is to say this is still just an okay movie that's a lot of fun, but it's just like very disappointing that they still feel the need to shove in stupid human shit.